The NBA just witnessed one of the most embarrassing displays of basketball in modern history. December 21st, 2025, Chicago Bulls defeated the Atlanta Hawks 152 to 150 in regulation. That's 302 combined points in 48 minutes. Atlanta dropped 73 points in the first half and was still down by 10. Think about that. You can score 73 in a half and trail by double digits. This isn't basketball anymore. It's a shooting drill where defense is optional. Let's talk about how absurd this game actually was. Chicago shot 57% from the field. Atlanta shot 52%. They combined for 89 three-point attempts and made 43 of them. That's 48% from deep on nearly 90 attempts. And here's the thing, these aren't elite teams. The Bulls were 13 and 15, the Hawks were 15 and 15, two perfectly mediocre teams just casually dropped over 300 points like it was a pickup game at the YMCA. This isn't an isolated incident either. Through the first third of the 2024-25 season, the league-wide scoring average is 116.5 points per game. That's only 2 points behind the all-time NBA record from 1961 to 62, the year Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 points. There are only 4 seasons in NBA history with higher scoring than what we're seeing right now, and all 4 happened in the 1960s. Here's where it gets interesting. Nobody takes the 1960s seriously when evaluating stats. Wilt's 50-point season gets discounted because of pace and competition. Oscar Robertson's triple-double season gets the same treatment, but somehow we're supposed to take today's inflated numbers at face value. If the 1960s get an asterisk, then every statistical achievement in 2024 deserves 1 too. Let's get back to that Hawks-Bulls game because the ending perfectly shows everything wrong with modern basketball. Atlanta had the ball down 2 with a chance to tie or win. Trae Young had it in his hands. This is the moment that separates good players from great ones. The moment legends are made. So what did Trae do? He tried to foul bait his way to the free throw line. He flopped and sold contact instead of actually making a basketball play. That's not skill. That's not competitive fire. That's a player who's been conditioned by this era's rule book to hunt for whistles instead of buckets. When did trying to trick the referees become more valuable than actually being able to score? This is why people who watched previous eras think today's product is terrible. It's why older fans insist most of today's players wouldn't succeed at anywhere near the same rate in the 80s, 90s, or even the 2000s. And they're not wrong. The argument from today's fans is always the same. This is the most skilled era ever. Players can do things now that were impossible before. But what exactly are they doing that's so impressive? Shooting more threes? The three-point line has been the same distance for decades. Players in the 90s could shoot threes. They just didn't because the game was actually balanced. Defense has been legislated almost entirely out of the game. You can't hand check. You can't be physical on the perimeter. You can't contest shots without risking a foul. Zone defense is technically legal, but the defensive 3-second rule makes it nearly impossible to run properly. Every rule change over the past 20 years has made offense easier and defense harder. And now we're supposed to be impressed that players are scoring more. That's not evolution, that's inflation. Michael Jordan averaged 30 points per game while getting hammered on every drive. Kobe Bryant put up 35 a game in the mid-2000s when teams were allowed to actually play defense. Allen Iverson was 6 feet tall and 165 pounds, and he still averaged 31 while getting destroyed by bigger defenders every night. Those guys would average 40 in today's game without breaking a sweat. There is one team proving defense can still matter, and that's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're on pace to win somewhere between 70 and 75 games this season, and it's not because they're jacking up more threes than everyone else. It's because they actually have a desire to compete on defense. Their version of defense often looks like organized mugging. They're physical to the point of being borderline illegal on most possessions. But what's stopping other teams from doing the same thing? Minnesota tried to match that physicality the last time they played Oklahoma City, and they won. So maybe that's what it takes. Maybe the rest of the league needs to see Oklahoma City's success and realize defense is still a viable path to winning. Historically, when one team finds a formula that works, other teams copy it. The Warriors revolutionized three-point shooting, and now everyone shoots threes. Maybe Oklahoma City can shame the rest of the league into actually trying on defense. Maybe they can dare other teams to match their intensity, because right now the Thunder are the only team treating defense like it matters, and they're dominating because of it. Here's what I keep coming back to. This isn't sustainable. The NBA's ratings have been declining for years, and games like that 152 to 150 disaster are exactly why. Casual fans tune in and see two mediocre teams trading uncontested buckets for 48 minutes, and they change the channel. There's no tension, there's no drama, there's no defensive stand that shifts momentum. It's just offense until somebody runs out of time. The league has spent 2 decades trying to create an offensive showcase, and they've succeeded. But they've removed the competitive balance that made basketball compelling in the first place. Defense creates stakes. Defense makes great offensive plays actually impressive. When Kobe hit a game winner over 3 defenders, it mattered because those defenders were actually trying to stop him. When LeBron drove through the lane in the 2016 finals, it was impressive because he was absorbing contact from players who were allowed to be physical. Now players get to the rim and defenders just stand there with their hands up, terrified of being called for a foul. Shooters get wide open looks because defenders can't close out aggressively without risking a whistle. The game has been sanitized to the point where half of the competition has been removed. I'm not saying we need to go back to the 90s where every game was a slugfest, but there has to be a middle ground. There has to be a way to incentivize defense without completely neutering offense, because right now this product is cooked. The players are too talented and too skilled to be playing in games where nobody even pretends to try on defense. Until the NBA figures out how to make defense matter again, we're going to keep seeing games like Bulls-Hawks. We're going to keep watching players hunt for fouls instead of making plays. And we're going to keep hearing older fans talk about how much better the game used to be, and they're right. So what would you change about today's NBA to bring defense back? Would you allow more physicality, change the foul rules, shorten the three-point line? Let me know in the comments, and if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button because we're going to keep talking about what's broken in today's game.